What a week for the Reds. The games came back and so did some controversy along with them. Plus,
it's not this false confidence that he walks around with. We see the work, and I'm sure he's doing it when we're not around because he shows up the next day and you ask questions and he's on top of it.
Joe Burrow is in Bengal stripes doing more football things. Hear why the Rook is not lacking in confidence. And high school football fans rejoice because it's game on. We'll talk about what to expect from football this fall.
From WCPO 9 Sports, this is Sports of All Sorts.
What up? Welcome to Sports of All Sorts. I'm Reggie Wilson. There's never a dull moment in Cincinnati sports this year. So just when we try to catch our collective breaths, 2020 goes all 2020 and reminds us it's 2020. But it's not all bad though, so that's where we'll start tonight. The Joe Burrow hype is real. The local media got a chance to see the first overall pick in live action this week, and he looked good. Strong in all of his drills, and he's lighting it up in 7-on-7s. Coaches are giving him full authority at the line of scrimmage. It's good news for the Bengals in this unusual offseason, having to get Burrow set for week 1 in a limited period of time. But after playing in one of the toughest conferences in all of college football last season and leading LSU to a national championship, he's ready for the moment.
I feel very comfortable with the offense right now. I feel very comfortable with my guys. And I think we're going to be pretty good on offense. I'm excited more so than nervous, I would say. Have you ever heard anything else about me about being nervous?
Well then, Joe. High school football is on, and Ohio Governor DeWine gave the green light on Tuesday for teams to play sports this fall. But there are restrictions on fans. Only family members of the athletes and those participating on the field are allowed in the stands. More on this news later in the show. Across the tri-state, Indiana got started this past Friday, and Kentucky plans to start games on September 7th, depending on what the governor says. And FC Cincinnati is back. The Orange and Blue played DC United to a scoreless draw Friday night at Nippert Stadium, the club's first match since July 28th in the MLS's back tournament. FCC is now 2-3-1 with 7 points. They travel to Soldier Field Tuesday to play the Chicago Fire FC at 7:30 p.m. And the biggest sports story of this past week, Reds TV announcer Thom Brennaman suspended after a homophobic comment on live television. His mic was hot as the broadcast came back from a commercial break. Here's a clip of his apology.
I made a comment earlier tonight that I guess went out over the air that I am deeply ashamed of. If I have hurt anyone out there, I can't tell you how much I say from the bottom of my heart. I'm so very, very sorry. I don't know if I'm going to be putting on this headset again. That is not who I am and never has been. And I'd like to think maybe I could have some people that could back that up.
Reds manager David Bell and some of the players were asked about the situation. Here's what they had to say.
My heart goes out to everyone that was offended by that. And in my opinion, everyone should be offended by it.
There's really no place for stuff like that anywhere. I don't know. It might be a better thing that he's gone, to be honest. So we'll see.
WCPO anchor Evan Millward wrote a heartfelt column earlier this week regarding the situation. Brennaman read that column and responded with a letter to the editor. He said in part, quote, "I could try to explain it or tell you about who I am and what I believe, but those things would all be excuses. The simple fact is what I said was wrong. You can read that full article on our website, WCPO.com. Reds trying to even up the series in St. Louis against the Cardinals today, and this helps. Eugenio Suarez blasts off for a 2-run shot to give Cincinnati a 2-0 lead. Tyler Mahle got the start today, and it was good till the second. Harrison Bader takes him deep to center for a 2-run jack to tie the game. Mahle went 3 innings and gave up 3 earned. Pendleton County native Nate Jones comes in and wishes he had that pitch back. Dylan Carlson hits his first career home run, and that was all she wrote. Reds go down 6-2, losers of 3 out of 4 in the loop.
You got to keep playing. I mean, we have, obviously, and that's exactly what we want to do. We believe in one another. We believe in this team, and we move on to another big series.
Joining me now is MLB.com Reds beat writer Mark Sheldon. Mark, thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much, Reggie. It's good to be with you.
Absolutely. Mark, so we've had COVID-19 hit the team and now the unfortunate Tom Brennaman situation. Can you remember a time as eventful as this last week has been for the Reds?
Definitely hasn't been a good week. Unwanted controversy with Tom, and it was a deplorable comment, and I know he wished he could take it back, and the first apology was clumsy, but he has been working on making amends and communicating with the LGBTQ community, and I hope that he learns from that. I don't know if it'll get him back on the air or not. The COVID stuff, it could have been a lot worse. The Reds only missed 3 games, and they're going to make those up, but like teams like the Cardinals and the Marlins missed a lot more. So I feel like that actually ended up not being the worst thing in the world. And then, of course, on the field, which is less important overall, they certainly haven't played well. They're not hitting. They're struggling to figure out how to get hits. They are making contact. They're hitting the ball hard, but they're not getting the hits. And they are the worst-ranked team in baseball right now in hits and in batting average on balls in play. So they have a lot of work to do.
Do you sense a frustration from these guys? You heard what David Bell had to say today.
Yeah, I sense some. It's really hard because we're not actually in the clubhouses to see and kind of feel what they're feeling. But at the same time, they are expressing their disappointment. Eugenio Suarez talked about it after the game and how they just need to find a way to get hits. David Bell has belief in the team that these guys can hit. The top 4 of their order are the guys that were supposed to carry this team, whether it was Joey Votto or Nick Castellanos or Suarez, and now Jesse Winker's been hitting, but they have some guys that just aren't contributing. But they are one of the teams in the league that are hitting the ball the hardest. So you would think these balls would fall in at some point, but they are being hit to people, and they really need to work on getting some of these hits to land. Kyle Farmer maybe said it perfectly that right now they need the baseball gods to kind of help them out and have a few of these fall in. And if that starts happening, maybe they'll start turning it around.
So, Mark, this is a crucial point for the Reds season. Do you expect any moves to be made to improve for the playoff push?
I think so. I think they're going to definitely try. They could definitely use some bullpen help, and they can definitely use another bat for the bench. The problem is with so many teams that are still, quote unquote, in it, and with the expanded playoff brackets, there's not going to be as many teams looking to sell, and that's going to be harder. And also, the only players that are eligible to be traded this year are those that are in the 60-player pool at all the different teams. So some teams don't have their big prospects in the player pool. The Reds have a few of them, but not all of them. And that does limit the amount of people you can trade to make a deal. And I don't imagine the Reds are going to move any of their really elite prospects for a rental player that's got an expiring contract. So I think they'll definitely try, but the circumstances may prevent them from actually making a deal.
All right, Mark, as always, I appreciate your perspective. Thanks for taking the time.
Take care. Thank you.
So I want to hear from you. There are only 34 games left this season. What do you think the Reds need to do to make the playoffs? Tweet me at Reggie Wilson TV and make sure to use the hashtag SOAS. The art of play calling and game management in the NFL is changing in a hurry. Coming up, how the Bengals are taking what they do on the sidelines to the next level.
All systems go. We're playing ball.
That was the reaction at LaSalle High School when the football team got the news they've been waiting all summer for. We talk about it with sports anchor Caleb Noe coming up. Welcome back. Every year at training camp, you hear the players are bigger, faster, and stronger. Kenan Singleton introduces us to the man on the Bengals staff who's making them smarter.
Zach Taylor hears the voices in his head. They give advice, but the decision ultimately rests on his shoulders. He doesn't leave it to his gut.
Sam's got a lot of knowledge in that head of his, and he's got a big book of information that he knows how to process a lot better than I do.
Sam is Sam Francis, the Bengals' 25-year-old football data analyst.
That rare opportunity to combine your sort of educational skill set with what you enjoy.
One couldn't have created a better specimen in a lab. Francis excelled in spreadsheets and the spread, playing football at Bates College along with a double major in math and economics. He's the ultimate dual threat, a nerd and a jock.
I think the nerd word's nicer than the jock word.
Last season, his first with the Bengals, Francis sat next to Dan Pitcher in the booth where his work influenced the Bengals' game clock management.
That's the biggest part, is there's got to be trust, and it's earned trust. It's not because you're talking about you're in the heat of battle now.
Francis is the Bengals' one-man analytics team where he has wide-ranging effects on game management, game planning, and draft preparation. There isn't always strength in numbers. The Cleveland Browns employ a 7-man analytics staff. The defending champion Chiefs only have 2. Francis is part number cruncher, football fan, and most importantly, a people person. The best algorithm is useless if Al Golden, the Bengals linebacker coach, can't apply it.
I think sometimes analytics can get this perspective of sort of holier than thou, and like the way you're doing it is not right. Here's how you should be doing it.
Zach Taylor and the Bengals hear him loud and clear. Keenan Singleton, WCPO 9 Sports.
Love it. Thanks, Keenan. Joining me to talk about what's happening with the Bengals at camp is ESPN Bengals reporter Ben Baby. Ben, how you doing?
Doing well, Reggie. How are you doing?
I'm good. So you've been out at camp now for a week. So let's start with 3 observations from you.
You know, first off, I think that we're all a little surprised at how well Joe Burrow has looked so far. Now, you know, I think like any rookie, he's had a share of ups and downs. He had a bad day, more or less, in the red zone before he went into the scrimmage where, you know, he looked really good, especially in those first couple of drives, going 9 of 10 passing for 101 yards and 2 touchdowns. Today, Sunday, he kind of struggled a little bit, didn't, you know, see the field maybe as well as he did in that scrimmage. I had him at 5 of 9 on 14 dropbacks. You had 3 sacks. You had a few scrambles there. And I think you'd like to see Joe seeing the field a little bit better than he did today. But overall, I don't think you can complain with where he's at, especially given the fact that he had no rookie minicamp and that he had no OTAs, and this is really his first time on the field with his teammates. Another observation I've had is that this wide receiver unit's actually a little deeper than I probably thought it was, to be quite honest with you. I wasn't, you know, really expecting a whole lot from Michael Thomas, if we're being honest, and I think he's done really well. Auden Tate has had a really strong training camp, and Alex Erickson, a guy who I had on the bubble, has made some really big plays, and I think he's going to really you know, I think he's got a shot at really securing a spot if that was even in question. And we haven't even gotten into seeing T. Higgins yet, or John Ross, or A.J. Green for the most part. So I'm really interested to see what these receivers look like at full go. And then maybe my last observation is the offensive line has actually been also surprisingly a little bit better. You know, it's when you see them in one-on-one matchups, guys like Trey Hopkins, Jonah Williams, they've looked really good. Mike Jordan has had his moments against Geno Atkins, which is saying a lot. And, you know, I know all those things are more or less positives, but when you're the worst team in the NFL, there's really nowhere else to go but up.
Absolutely. And so John Ross came back today. You mentioned that wide receiver core. He missed some time away with family, dealing with COVID-19 with his son. How did he look today?
You know, I think John was getting in the feel of things. You know, the one rep that stood out to me, Mackenzie Alexander won that one. Was draped all over John Ross and forced an incompletion. But I think the fact that John was out there is a good sign that he's able to get back in with his teammates. You know, we didn't see him in any team drills, so you know, I think we should hold any reservation on how John is looking in camp until we see him in those 11-on-11 drills. But I think what he said today is probably more important than anything that he did. You know, he said that he feels confident, his body feels good, he's in a good headspace. And with John Ross, I think that's really the most important thing with him. I think that's the thing that he struggled with throughout his whole time in the NFL. And you saw that last year, you know, he was at a good start, and I think that would have done well or carried well throughout the season had he not gotten injured and went on IR. So, you know, if John can stay in a good state of mind and can carry that confidence from training camp into the regular season, that bodes really well for him. So, you know, right now, I think he said all the right things. Now it's a matter of seeing him translate those good vibes onto the field and have that carry into production.
All right, Ben. Well, we're out of time, or else I would have asked you about drafting Burrow on my fantasy team. So maybe next time, all right? Thanks a lot.
It sounds good, Reggie.
All right, coming up, high school football is just 5 days away in Ohio, while teams are fired up after a summer of uncertainty.
We'll do whatever it takes, whatever they set forth in terms of guidelines, protocols, mandates, what we have to do on game night. We'll do it. I think most of the coaches in the state of Ohio and players will, and we'll do whatever it takes to have a season.
And they will. The excitement is real. Joining me to talk about the return of high school sports in Ohio is our guy, Caleb No. Caleb, thanks for hanging out. And what you wearing?
Yeah, How about this, man? I got my old high school football jersey, number 37, in case you were wondering. There, you got a good shot of that?
Okay. All right.
Number 37. Our viewers in Northern Kentucky might be familiar with Bullitt East High School. That's where I went. It's down right outside of Louisville, so you guys might be a little familiar with it.
That's what's up. All right, I see you. I see you. So I know you talked to a lot of players and coaches this week about the governor giving the green light for football this fall. How excited were these guys about this decision?
Well, I mean, I think the coolest thing that we saw all week, and you just heard from Coach Pat McLaughlin a couple minutes ago, we sent our photographer, Philip, out there to their practice earlier this week when they found out about the announcement that they were going to be able to have a season, and it was absolutely incredible. He basically stood in front of the team, and he said, guys, we're full go. We get to have a season this fall. And they went absolutely nuts. So, I mean, you could see what it means to these high school athletes to just get to show what they've worked so hard for. But I think it's very important that people, and that being us, that being the fans out there, the parents, the friends, the students, wearing masks, social distancing. And I'm not trying to, it's just a health and safety protocol that I think we're all going to have to follow all season.
Yeah, and Caleb, games will look a lot different than seasons past because there's limitations with fans.
Yeah, and as I was walking into the gate the other night at Lakota West, I was at their preseason scrimmage. I could hear the very kind ladies that were working the gate there. They were taking everybody's temperatures. They took my temperature. And I heard them kind of counting, taking a tally of how many people were in there. That is going to be one of the strictest guidelines this fall, is the number of spectators in the seats. And now, I mean, and it was interesting to look up at the stands, the bleachers, which would normally be full. It was pretty spread out. It was pretty socially distant there at Lakota West Friday night.
Wow. Probably pretty bizarre for you to see indeed. So, all right, so let's look forward to week one. What are you most looking forward to about week one? This will be your first time covering Ohio high school football.
I am so much looking forward to week one, Reggie. And now, speaking of Lakota West, I am looking so much forward to seeing their first matchup this season and seeing Coach Tom Bolden play against Colerain. That will be so much fun to see. But I think week one is just always fun. I mean, I played high school football. I played in a state championship in high school. I played college football. But I would contend that the most exciting thing as an athlete is that very first game of the season in high school football, running out of the tunnel, stepping onto the field for the first time when you've worked so hard for months, when your community is looking on. That is one of the best feelings in all of sports, Reggie. And every athlete who's worked for months now to reach this point is going to get to feel that this Friday night.
Absolutely, Caleb. Well, you look like you're ready to get out there this Friday night. So ice up, son, and we'll see you soon.
Yes, sir. I'll throw the pads on and maybe get out there this week.
All right. Thanks so much, Caleb. All right. We'll be right back to wrap up the show.
All right, here we go. Like I said, today is Kobe Bryant's 30th birthday, and we're going to sing happy birthday on 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kobe. Happy birthday to you.
LeBron posted that video on Instagram today to celebrate what would have been Kobe Bryant's 42nd birthday. I've mentioned before on this program, and it's widely known that Kobe is my favorite athlete of all time. And it's still hard to believe he's no longer with us. In LeBron's video, Kobe turned 30 years old, a milestone. 3 days ago, I also turned 30. And just like Kobe, I brought in the occasion surrounded by close family and friends. I look forward to what this next decade brings. For Kobe at 30, ahead of him were several All-Star appearances, a couple Olympic gold medals, 2 more NBA championships, and 2 finals MVPs. But he also celebrated the birth of 2 more daughters, became an Academy Award-winning filmmaker, a novelist, and a philanthropist. His legacy spans across all sports. In fact, here in Cincinnati, Reds second baseman Mike Moustakas took BP wearing Kobe's high school jersey. Just like Kobe at 30, I hope my legacy goes far beyond my profession. I have aspirations to be great in my career, yes, but I also want to be a great dad, family man, and use the talents God gave me to make a lasting impact on society. Kobe is no longer with us physically, but his spirit continues to inspire us. We can all dig deep and channel that Mamba mentality, being relentless and tenacious about everything that we do. These next years will undoubtedly bring challenges and exciting moments, and I plan to treat life's wins like that jump shot that's nothing but net, yelling out, Kobe! Happy birthday, Mamba. You're forever missed. Well, it's been real, it's been fun, it's been real fun, but we gotta go. I'd like to thank my guests Mark Sheldon, Ben Baby, and Caleb No for joining me tonight. And thank you to my village who helped me put this all together. Thank you for watching. So let's do it again next Sunday. Till then, have a good night and a very blessed week.